The following feature is rated SM for spiritual maturity and is not intended for the immature who wishes to remain as such. The views expressed are not necessarily those of our sponsors, as they sometimes could not care less about what the host is saying, but is more concerned about having their product on a popular show. Warning, small minds, listen at your own risk, as this content is extremely overwhelming and may do further damage to those minds closed off to objective reality. Approach with an open mind, as the heavy nature of the content will lick your chip.
Welcome to the Unvarnished Views. I am your host, Richard O.C. Ardlishaw. With this one I call Internet. Now, a lot of us are distracted by smokes and mirrors, and therefore willfully, ignorantly enter nets, all sorts of nets. We get caught up in so many things. We silently consent to many things that are to our detriment, and we call it progress. And you know my question, progress to where? Many of us jump on a train, plane, or better yet, a ship, without knowing where it is going, why it is going there, and even if this vessel is seaworthy. But most importantly, we don't ask, what is the cost? Rest assured, brother, be here you. One-stop driver trying to get off this bus because it's filled with too many mirrors showing you that you are doing the same thing you are so strongly and desperately trying to deny. Convince yourself, brother, as I don't care. But in the meantime, I'll give my 2 cents. I'll start with an example. Bowcat. Man was such an outcast, and we were so much against it. To know we have many men only too happy to admit that them nyam. It's so sad to know that when in the time that I grew up, it was when there was so much discuss around eating of the buff, to where I expressed the thought that bad boy Trevor is better than a because he is doing something wrong, but at least he is doing it with a woman. To be met with, you should eat like a pum pum. We went from Elephant Man singing Bad Man Don't Bathe with him baby mother rag, to now Bad Man a bathe, a wash him face with some random bitch. Many people don't get the point of my YouTube channel, Religious Reasoning. What? Religious reasoning? That sounds like an oxymoron. But it is not. This channel is not about dogma. It's about looking at things from various viewpoints. If you have strong conviction in what you believe or know to be true, how can you fear information that challenge what you know? Your aim should be to get the best information, not the information that you like best. I hear you. Blasphemy. Except that's what the power that be are going to hope for. Do you know what the word religiously mean? It means without question. Except the good book says question everything. If you go to 1 Thessalonians 5:19-21 in the ESV version, it reads, do not quench the spirit, do not despise prophecies, but test everything, hold fast to what is good. Now, 1 Thessalonians 5:19-21, the King James Version read, quench not the spirit, despise not prophesying, prove all things, hold fast to that which is good. It is through question that we learn and grow. So let's ask some questions, like how comes atheists will be upset with God? Even though atheists don't believe in God, they believe that God is a figment of our collective imagination. But I digress. Back to the matter at hand. Internet. Many of us are caught in the net of what is going on. Let's start with homosexuality. Jamaica used to be a country with strong opinions on the subject, so much so that many countries applied pressure for us to change our laws and stance on the issue. The homosexual was the worst thing to be. Well, the men. When I was growing up, we were already losing the battle as females were already being accepted to some extent. We have left all of that behind, no pun intended, as now homosexuals are all over the place with special rights that straight people don't have. But how did this happen? How did we get here? That is the question. It was through carefully setting up a line with bait and watching while many of us get caught hook, line and sinker. If you can break down a task into, it's step by step, you can get almost anyone to accomplish anything. Now, this is the same approach that was used with with things like homosexuality. How? It starts with media, social and traditional that we consume. And how we consume that? We consume it mostly over the internet. More and more, we are shamed into compliance. Let me take the time to acknowledge that there is a double standard right here. Because while it is perfectly fine to shame a person, calling them a bigot, for those who don't know, a bigot is a person who is obstinately or unnecessarily or unreasonably attached to a belief, opinion, or faction, especially one who prejudice against an antagonistic towards a person or people based on their membership to a particular group. You understand? So basically, they must say, you're a bigot if you see somebody I do something and you say, no, I don't say it, we go. You understand? So, who would want to be that person, right? In the meantime, it is perfectly okay for a person to try and shame it is not okay for a person to try and shame a fat person into losing weight. No. Now, if you look at these two examples, right, that I give to you, to me, one strike me that it strike me that the one who needs to lose weight can improve their well-being by doing so. So basically, you shame somebody to take care of themselves. Telling a person that they are beautiful just the way they are is no different than encouraging a child to play with matches. Because eventually, he will burn on himself, he will hurt himself. We now live in a world where our feelings are more important so long as it aligns to what the elite's agenda is. Our feelings is more important than the truth, as long as it aligns to their agenda. So, from gay guys being told, "Mo bust a shot in the head," to now being told, "Mo bust juice in the."
One thing I know, Jamaica full of batty, man. My thick God, one time when I used to bust blanca for me, now no one bust juice in me. Things and times have changed.
It commences gradually. First with girls, then get shaky and society accept them. And act as if it's nothing. Because even the other day, a person were talking and I was expressing that me no like lesbian worse than me no like gays. And it was like, how you feel like lesbian? These were people who claim say them straight. How is it? How is it that you're straight? You're not straight, brother. So, can you remember in 2008 when you were lucky to find a girl who... Now every girl and their mother wants... So eventually, they never want to be doing all the sucking. Until now, man getting on it girls start get all on them face. You understand? And all these things are happening because we gradually allow things to deteriorate. We gradually allow things to come in. And when you say nothing and nothing and nothing, so till everything goes. When I mention I don't suck, I'm told I am weird. And when I tell them my wife don't, I'm being told, hey, if you make sure you look up on here, you know. I don't even know what they mean by that. But based on how prevalent this has become, some even suggest that I am foolish. Because chances are she is doing this good road, basically. Now this is because most people are not used to the type of relationship that we have, where it goes back to the olden days. Most persons are in let's do it until I'm bored relationship. You understand? These people, but it's just they don't even have to think about it. You know, if them see something where them can get out of it, them ready. Them ready to do it. But let me focus on the point though. From 2020, from even before 2020, I've been following needs, even to the detriment of my channel, risking loss of monetization because I would upload their videos when they have their town halls. Understand? Because they used to have the town halls to tell you what is going to be in this new needs bill. Most persons ignore it because to them it doesn't matter, or it doesn't affect them directly, and that's the secret. Make them think it doesn't affect them, and they would say it's none of my concern. Because whether it's needs, homosexuality, or the transgender gender, the massive increase in parliamentarian salary, the cashless economy, or something else, I believe the power that be are using three main things to solicit our compliance: willful ignorance, ignorance, and FOMO, the fear of missing out. I'll go into details right now. Alright, let's talk about willful ignorance. Many of us, on many occasions, press skip or change the channel or scroll past whenever certain information that is critical to our present and future is being disseminated, because it doesn't entertain us. Why would they want to entertain you though? Think about it. They are not giving you the information for you to have it, or to learn or understand. No, that's not why they're giving the information. They are giving you the information so they can say the information was given, so that you can say, when you say, but we never know about this, they must say, no, but we give this information. You understand? So that is why they are giving you the information. It is not for you to have the information. No. Why would they want you to have the information? They are not giving you the information so you can learn or understand. They are giving you it so they can say the information was given, so they can tick a box, right? And say the information was available. And so since no one objected, they can say, well, I think it was okay to proceed. Truth be told, they intend to proceed with or without your permission. You skipping the information is what they want. Now, the second factor that affects all of these changes happening in society that many of us still don't agree with, and that many of us are shocked to see happening, is, as I call it, ignorance. Meaning, this is different from willful ignorance, no, but ignorance, this involves you seeing something and saying nothing. Like seeing two girls kissing and thinking, oh, that's so cute. So you let them carry on. Or seeing someone making a mistake and thinking their mistake is not my mistake until you look around and everyone is doing the same thing. It's telling yourself that someone else will do something about the burning building. And now you're surprised to see the building flat. There is a subcategory that I like to call forgetfulness. Now this is when something happens and you are outraged for 2 days or 2 weeks, and then you just forget it and move on. This is also a big part of the problem. No endurance. So even if something happens, all the authorities them have to do is just wait for you to forget and just continue as normal. Ignorance. You just start ignoring it. You're tired. Can't bother with it anymore. So you just ignore it. Now FOMO. FOMO, this ties into the other reasons that I mentioned. Now the fear of missing out is why people ignore the meaning of say ankle chain, so they can wear them and convince themselves that there is nothing wrong with ankle chain. People who are right don't need to tell everyone and their mother about it unprovoked. In other words, if I see someone in a ankle chain, I will think that person is representing for worse, but I don't need to tell everyone unless they ask. For a person who is wrong, if I say to someone else that ankle chains were used by words to hint at their profession, a person who doesn't want to be seen as a whore but want to wear anklet because of the fear of missing out, will find themselves in my conversation listing all the reasons nothing is wrong with it and calling me names like bigot. FOMO is the same reason why old women like 50, 60, 70 will go and pierce their nose or their tongue, or on TikTok gyrating like schoolgirl.
I put mama scream. All I don't know where the pan, just chop up my scream. Make me broke here. I wear the cock when me did sit pan here. When there? Make I get my curtain wipe my face. I want the cock there.
Many people get addicted to the spotlight and don't want to give it up. This is because of the fear of missing out. The fear of missing out is what makes Spice go do her body and her breast, nearly killing herself in the process, and why parents in America are transitioning their kids.
It's a gay baby. Gay baby. Gay, gay, gay. Please be gay. Oh, be what you want to be, but be gay. Okay? Thank you. No pressure, but pressure.
That's where the eyes are. So everybody wants to be there. Everybody wants to be where everybody else is looking. They want to be in the spotlight. There was once a fly, right? Now the fly was met a roach. Now the fly noticed that his friends were having a party and he wanted to join, but the roach warned him and said, "Don't go." The fly insisted. All his friends were jumping and waving their hands and wings in the air, and he joined the party. So he too started waving his hands and wings in the air, because it wasn't a party. It was a fly trap. And that is what happened. And guess what? You think say him would get caught on the trap. You see, if one of him friend them apart, I think he might tell him, say, "Yo, don't come down here." No, I'm gonna say, "Come man, come, it's a party." The same thing. We see this already with people who got the COVID vaccine. They start tell everybody and their mother say them need to get it. Why? they don't want to admit that them wrong. No? They don't want to admit that them wrong. They might encourage you to come in. If them are dead, I had a client who say, oh, him really make the money in them family. Anything where them family want, them link him. And him say what? Him say him make sure all them family take it because if him are dead, the whole of them have to dead too. Does that sound like him believe in the vaccine? No? He don't believe in the vaccine. But him already take it, him already make the mistake. And him not gonna be the only person when make the mistake. So that is it. It is said that integrity is doing what is right, even if no one is looking. But it's more than that to me. It's doing the right thing regardless of what wrongs others are doing. Doing the right thing even when others are looking. It's doing the right thing even when you are being pressured to do the wrong. It's doing the right thing no matter what. That is real and true integrity. But many have lost it. Many of us are now caught up in what is going on in society. We are caught up in Americanizing and, oh, it's not so bad, and, coming up with excuses for things that we know is wrong. Alright, I'm going to use the morality test. I'm going to talk about the morality test because a lot of people would feel like morality, I get my morality from a book, from the Bible, for example. I don't. Morality should come from more than just a book. You can't just say, oh, well, the book says this or the book says that. And that's where you're going to get your morality from. Because at the end of the day, what if the book did say something else? Would you then say, oh, well, the book said this and just work with the book? In order for us to consistently be moral, we have to go outside of the book. Because a lot of times, even in the book, there are things that seem to contradict each other. So we can't really use the book. You understand? So let me go into how I look at morality. Because really, morality has 4 pillars. So the purpose of morality is to provide a framework of ethical principles and guidelines that help individual and society distinguish between right actions and wrong actions. Morality can help people make decisions that promote the well-being of themselves and others, and it can serve as a basis for creating a just and equitable society. Morality often involves the recognition of basic values such as fairness, justice, honesty, compassion, and respect for humanity and for human dignity. By adhering to these values, individuals can promote social harmony, prevent harm, and create positive outcomes for themselves and others. In addition, moral principles can provide a sense of meaning and purpose in life, and it can provide individual development, right? It helps them to develop a sense of responsibility for their actions and the actions, and for their actions and their impact on the world around them. So overall, the purpose of morality is to provide a framework for ethical decisions that promotes the well-being of individual and society as a whole. So for me, there is the 4 pillars as I spoke about earlier. 1, it is the strong's duty to protect the weak. 2, survival of self, but more importantly, survival of the group. 3, maintenance of peace and avoid conflict. And 4, take responsibility and make amends. Now, these are basically the principles, the core principles that morality should be built on. But there are other factors that can affect whether something is moral, which I'll get into in a minute. Now these perspectives, let me look at each of them in a little detail before we get into how I go about making moral decisions, and how I think that society and people should go about making moral decisions. Now, as I say, one is a duty of the strong to protect the weak. So one perspective of morality is that it requires us to protect those who are vulnerable and in need. This can include like the sick, the elderly, the poor, children, invalid, whomever the weak is. By fulfilling this duty, we create a more just and compassionate society. Now, whether it's the police who have the power, the soldier, it's that power that you have at your will, whether it's the prime minister, whoever it is, whoever have this power, it is their responsibility to use this power that they have to protect those who don't have this power. You understand? So, next one, survival of self and group, right? So, this is survival of yourself. So, in morality now, if a person say, I go try to harm you because of whatever reason, whatever they might do, it is up to you to protect yourself and also the group. So we are going to get into that. Let me just tell you a little bit more, because another perspective is that morality is rooted in the need for self-preservation and group survival. By following ethical principles and behaving in a way that promotes the well-being of the community, we increase our chances of survival and ensure a better future for ourselves and those around us. You understand? So that is why self-preservation, and more importantly, in my opinion, the preservation of the group is so important. Maintain peace and avoid conflict. Now, this is particularly important because sometimes you can, basically feel like you have a right, but you know that by exercising said right, it's going to cause some conflict. It's going to get people riled up. So, it's going to be up to you now to weigh in on whether or not you should exercise said right. Now, morality can also be seen as a way to maintain social order and prevent conflicts by adhering to ethical principles such as fairness, honesty, and respect for others. We can avoid misunderstanding and disputes that can lead to violence or other negative outcomes. 4. Take responsibility for actions and make amends. So, it is up to us now. When we do something happen, it's up to we now to say yes, can't too big to say, well, I'm sorry. Now, morality can involve taking responsibility for action and making amends when we harm others. By acknowledging our mistake, right, and making effort to repair the damage we've caused, we demonstrate accountability and build trust within our community. So overall, these principles that I have outlined, right, serve a purpose on morality to demonstrate the importance of ethical principles in society in creating a just and harmonious society, right? So, how I look at it, right? Let's look at 3 examples. I'm gonna look at 3 examples to show you some other thing, because it's not morality is not it's not something simple. It is simple, but it's not always simple. So let me get into it. And remember, we're still talking about internet. We're still going back to that, but let's talk about the morality So we can talk about the moral decline of society and what it has caused. Because when we look at it now, let's talk about it. Let's pick something that is clearly, we're going to do something that's clearly moral, something that is clearly immoral, and then we're going to talk about something that neither moral nor immoral. So the question that you ask yourself, very simple question: what would happen if everyone was doing it? Right? We also ask the question, what would happen if no one was doing it? Once you have the answers to both of these questions, then we can definitely can almost certainly have the answer to whether this thing is moral, immoral, or amoral. So let's start with something that is clearly moral. Alright? Let's say alright, let's start with something immoral, because that comes to mind. Let's say murder. So the man not doing nothing, you just decide, say, you walk out the road, see somebody, and you just feel like, say, yo kill. You just feel like, say, yo, I feel like you kill somebody, and you may say, I just decide you kill him. Alright? So what will happen if everybody do that? There would only be one person in the world, because I walk out, I just feel like I kill you, I just kill. Everybody just go out and just kill. Just murder somebody for no reason. You don't need a reason. Just go out, you feel like you kill the first person you see, you kill. Alright? So clearly, if everybody do that, it would be bad for society. But what if nobody do that? So if nobody do that, what would be the impact on society? The impact would not be negative. There would not be any negative impact on society if everybody did not walk out and kill anybody. So it is ideal for our society, right? For our society to maintain peace and avoid conflict, right? And also for the survival of the group, that we do not go on, just killing random people for no reason. So murder is clearly immoral, right? So we should be able to agree that murder is immoral. Alright, let's take something that is amoral. Alright, so let's say being a doctor. Being a doctor is amoral because being a doctor is neither moral nor immoral. So let's see if we can use these questions to determine. So what if everybody was a doctor? Well, the reality is that these doctors would have no patient, because each doctor would be able to treat themselves, and therefore it would be negative. Also, if everybody was a doctor, when would anybody have time to do anything else? Like, for example, farming or teaching or something else. Because remember, everybody is a doctor. So clearly, we can't have a society where everybody are doctors. But let's see, what if no one was a doctor? Then it would also be negative, because what would happen is that there would be all patients and no doctor. So who would take care of people when they are sick? Who would be able to take care of people when they are critically ill? I don't mean like, they have some minor illness. If they had something major that required anything more than a band-aid, who would be able to do that? Yes, maybe eventually we'd get people who would bandage it, or a nurse or whatever, but eventually what we would need is specialized people who specialize in this to be able to take the best care of these persons. So realize is this, right? Realize is that we don't need everyone to be a doctor, but we do need some people to be a doctor. So a decision like that is amoral. So your career, the career that you take up, in most cases is immoral, right? Because we need some of these but we don't need everybody to be this way. So it's normally amoral. So let's think about something that is moral. Alright? Alright, let me see now. I try to find a good example that everyone should be able to agree on that is moral. Alright, so this one, a lot of people might be of the opinion that it is amoral. That is meaning it's not moral nor immoral. But this is definitely something moral that we need to get back to, and that is discipline of our children. Let's think about discipline of our children. What would happen if everybody disciplined their children? Now, the method of discipline is going to be different from child to child, that I can tell you. So I'm not necessarily talking about beating your kids, but I can assure you that beating your kids is moral, right? If necessary, because not every child needs beating in order to be able to be disciplined, because some will be disciplined by just attacking to, but not every child needs that. Some child will need some liquor in backside. But anyways, discipline of your children. What would be happening if everyone disciplined their children? Then what we would grow up with is a society of people who themselves are disciplined. What about if we have children who are not disciplined? Well, with the clue, that is the world that we are moving towards, and it is very bad. Because first thing, it is bad for the kids, because they are growing up to become adults, and these kids, when they become adults, will be in a world that require discipline. What kind of discipline? Well, if you do something wrong when you're little, and I just look at it and overlook it and say, oh, blah 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 blah, and then I do not offer discipline, proper discipline, then what is going to happen is that when you become an adult and you do something wrong, what's going to be happening is that discipline is going to be something new to you. What kind of discipline? Well, there is prison, right? But there is police shooting you down, right? There is loss of your job. There is a lot of consequences that you have to face, and you will be forced to face if you are indisciplined as an adult. So in order for you to be able to best be able to deal with this kind of situation, what you need discipline from a very tender age. So you need to have that discipline as a child, right? Because while I can always forgive you, while your parent can always forgive you, the law will never forgive you. The law will always insist that whatever the punishment is, that it is carried out. There's no second chance or third chance. It's just, you do something wrong, we catch you, we know you do it, sometime all one time and you do it, we definitely going to punish you, because we have enough evidence, we believe that you do it. Now, so let's look at this now. Let's look at this. Right? Let's look at some other things that people are of the opinion that does not, they are not moral, or that they are either amoral or moral, meaning these things are okay for people to do, right? So a lot of persons are of this opinion for many things that are actually immoral. Let's start with something like homosexuality. Homosexuality is definitely immoral. It is wrong. It is something that should not be happening, and it's something that we are here, and we are a lot of us are silent on this topic because of whatever the reason. A lot of time we have our platform, we have our voices, and it's being silenced because of this. No, the reason is because a lot of us are silent on this issue is to maintain peace and avoid conflict. But sometimes you need conflict. You need to make people feel away, because while that is number 3, you have to remember number 2, maintenance of self-preservation, preservation of society. What happened? Let's ask ourselves the question: what happened if everybody was a homosexual? No, a lot of people will say, well, based on the modern technology that we have artificial insemination and all these kind of a thing that can help, in reproduction. But the reality is this: if a man is fucking a body, he can never get that person pregnant. Whether it's a man body, woman body, it doesn't matter. If he's a body man, it's wrong, because in doing so, you are definitely guaranteeing that there will not be another generation. And none of us here on this earth is immortal. There's none that is immortal. No human is immortal. Show me one that has not died. Right? No, if they have not died and they are here, right? It means that they are not human, not like the ones that we know. They are something else. We said this, right? Clearly, we can see that if everybody was homosexual, it would be detrimental to human society. So, because the purpose of sexual activity, the main purpose, is reproduction. Now, if a lot of person might argue that most times when we have sex is not to reproduce, but that does not matter. The reason why sex is fun and all of that is because sex is also painful in the reproduction part. So nature had to balance it out. God had to balance it out, right? So there is the fun part of it, but the fun part is not the main function. The main function is to maintain, say, the next generation. There will be people. When you gone, there will be someone here still. So what if no one did it? Well, society would be so much better off, because not everyone would reproduce, because some would be eunuchs and would not be able to reproduce. But it would not affect society negatively, right? So something like homosexuality is unnecessary. Same thing goes to oral sex. A lot of our society has gone down into this thing where oral sex has become a big thing now. And every time you talk about against oral sex, you're seen like some kind of idiot. Remember, back in the days, we weren't talking about oral sex, although, truth be told, we were talking about it. It's just that we weren't so blatant with it. And the reality is that not so many persons were doing it. So this is something that is immoral. These two things are things that are immoral, that are becoming more prevalent. And the more immorality we have in society, the more we go through this thing where society is declining, eventually what is going to happen is that we are going to end up with no society at all. We are going to die. The species human is going to go extinct, because the reason why a lot of these immoral things are being promoted is because they want to control the population. They are here to have population decline. Now, let's come off of morality a bit, because what a lot of people don't realize is that Jamaica is one of those central hubs for morality. Jamaica used to be like the place. Jamaica is like the shining light, A lot of things, a lot of reason why the world has not gone down into destruction long time is because of Jamaica. This little place, we use a powerful tool that we call reggae music and dancehall music. And it was against a lot of things that were immoral. We used to fight against immoral things no matter which party there. Right? So till now we are the ones promoting many things that are immoral, like oral sex. We are saying nothing wrong with homosexuality. We have lesbians, and all of these things. We have JASP, right? We have JASP, which is the Jamaica Association of Straight People, and nobody know about it. But everybody know about JFLAG, Jamaica Association for Lesbian, Homosexual and Gays, right? And eventually what we are seeing is that you have even parents now saying that them have them kids and them must say, yes, I hope you become a lesbian, I hope you become a transgender, I hope you become gay.
It's a gay baby. Gay baby. Gay, gay, gay.
We have parents who are having kids that they want to be part of this group. Oh, this group is a minority group. This group is an unnecessary group. It's unnecessary. They don't serve any purpose. The problem is this: a lot of people will think that they were born a certain way, and they argue that they are born this way, and as a result of the fact that they are born this way, it is basically what do you call it now? It's rude and provocative for us to call them out on these actions that they are doing that is clearly wrong. No, these actions are clearly wrong. I can't say different. I can't say otherwise. I am not going to sell out like many of these artists and people in society was sold out. No, I can't. What has caused this decline in Jamaica society is a thing that I call the internet. The internet has had such influence, and also with television. Honestly, if you check what I am watching now, I am watching mainly whole TV shows. That is what I am watching. Documentaries, that is what I am watching. Why am I watching this? Because you have to be careful of the content that you expose yourself to. And what I realize is that majority of the content that we get, right, is it having one, two homosexual and one, three gay. That is where we reach. We reach a point now where there's a show that is about MILFs dating their own each other's son. That's how we reach. We reach now in a point in a society where eventually what they do is they get you to say, once they get you to say that there's nothing wrong with something, then eventually you're going to just ignore it. And that is what is happening in this world and in Jamaica. Many things we are ignoring. So when you hear a next person now talk about it, you now vex up in yourself because you feel say that person there him a hold back progress. Them person there cause the country if it can't grow. Grow where? You understand? It's the problem we have now is that because of convenience, our convenience fee is our freedom, and most people don't realize what is going on. Take the central bank digital currency. Do you trust the government with your money? Do you trust them with your money? First thing, it means no tax avoidance. Yeah, all right. Am I saying tax avoidance is good? No. Me not say you have to pay your taxes. That's not what I'm saying. But this, what happens now is that at any time the government can take money from out your account. In for example, in the documents that were written in America, you can go and look it up. For the American Central Bank Digital Currency, CBDC, they say that the money will be able to expire. So you can work your money and they can say, well, I don't want you saving no money. So your money will expire in a week, in a month, or tomorrow. Them can tell you, say, your money expire. You work hard and you cannot save. Because them are going to tell you, say, this money where you make, you must spend it by X time. Or they can also say, you must spend it on Y thing. With the CBDC, well, a lot of people don't realize. If you don't have cash, when you don't have cash, live money, you don't have control over your money. What is going to happen is, as a lot of people don't know, if you live at Portmore and the government decides that you no figure out mobile, when you got mobile, your money cannot spend. You have money, you see, I like money, but it can't spend. These are some of the dangers within using a CBDC. But people still are of the opinion that the CBDC is something good, because they are saying, well, if they are going to take InDrive, or if they are going to order a pizza, or they are going to do certain things, they are going to do it. They're not going to do it with cash, and that's fine. It's fine to have that as an option. It's fine. The convenience makes it fine to have as an option. But to have as the only option is not a good idea. Alright, take me, for example. I do not have a bank account. I might need a bank account for certain type of transaction, but it is not to save my money. It is not to keep my money, to keep my life savings in a bank. No. I use a prepaid card, so if I want to buy something, I load the card, I pay for what I want to pay for. If I don't put any money in there, the bank does not get to rob my money. And the person, those who I don't trust more than the bank, is the government. And then the government keeps flip-flopping. They keep saying something today, saying something tomorrow. Once they get you exactly where they are, you are not going to have any freedom. Take China. In China, you can literally be barred from leaving the country, from buying groceries. You can literally be barred from doing certain things if they suspect that you have certain intentions, regardless of whether you do something wrong. So even just by saying Xi Jinping, or whatever his name is, by simply saying I don't like him, or say anything about him where him no like, they can flag you and say, well, we don't like how you're moving, so guess what? You can't buy food this week. That's what I want you to think about. Do you want to give the government that sort of power over your life? Right? So that's the CBDC. And then this homosexual agenda, it's getting more and more, because we have a dancehall act like Shensia, which Shensia, I think she have father issues. Me know for a fact that she have father issues, because that is what happened when we kick the fathers out of the home. When we praise single mother, and a lot of women are going to want to go for that. Because why? Because they want the praise, they want to be in the spotlight. It's the same thing with the transgender parents. Them, they want to be in the spotlight. They want people to see them and think, oh, you are important. And that is what happened in Jamaica. More and more single mothers. I was raised by a single mother. Does that mean that I think that kids should be raised by a single mother? It's me coming out of that home, right, as the person that I am, is a miracle. It was very hard. It's a good thing I had some positive male role models. Even when I was 19, 20, I had a lot of emotional stress or emotional problems, because I was very feminine. Feminine not in way of me talk or that, but feminine in the way I react to certain situation. So the way I behave was very feminine. A lot of people will not recognize that, or will try and use this now as something negative. But I admit it. When I was younger, I had a lot of feminine behavior in this way. Let me explain what I mean. For example, my friend I would come there, my foot stink because maybe me no wash them or my socks won't change or something. And my friend them we run joke. They know a man stay. Them go run joke. Hey, whether your foot no smell good, you know. Me I go take offense, get up in my feelings. Because me not have the right masculine energy, which is going to say, but man, my foot no smell good enough, go do something about it. My feminine energy when me portray, because that is when I grew up monks. How dare you tell me say my foot smell? So you know, say you start feel down, right? You ready for left. You know want to stay around them. You have a problem because why? You don't have the father figure around you. Yes, me know where my father is. I know where my father is. But it take me a longer time to figure out a lot of these things. If I had a father in the home, he would say, yo, your foot don't smell good. Make sure you wash your foot. Eventually what will happen is that you know, as a boy child and even as a girl child, will go through the phase there where somebody is going to tell you something where you don't necessarily want to hear, and you go just know, say, this is something where you don't necessarily want to hear, but this is the truth, right? And that is where we reach in a society. Most people are filled with feminine energy. They don't want to hear what they don't want to hear, regardless of whether or not this thing is true. They just don't want to hear it, and they feel like they should have the right to shut you up. So that is what is happening in society. These kids who have grown up feel like they should have the right, because of the invasion of these principles in society, they should have the right to shut you up. If you look at any person that have these homosexual tendency, they grew up without their fathers. Alright, sometimes the father can be in home and they say, oh, so how come this one have the father? The father was there physically, but was he there like physically? Was he, in his role as a father? Because a lot of the household had men who were docile. A lot of these men grew up. Look at even society. Look at the world. You can look at Jamaican music, but you can also look at world music. Show me one song where talk about the importance of father. None of them. You will have a song like Send Back My Father Again. But if you listen to the lyrics of the song, you realize the reason why this person want God to send back his father is because of his mother. And then there's another song, Big Up Yourself and You Are a Real Father. Right? So the man is now praised for his contribution, not just for being a father, His blessing or his big up comes because of one reason, because of the purpose that him serve. Him serve some kind of purpose, right? He's there to give. So what him give, that qualify him now to get a blessing or get a big up as a father. There is also DJ Casey song, Thanks You Having Sex Without a Condom. You left your yard and to mother yard you come. So now it's just the act. So this father is now being thanked for the act when perform pan the mother now in order for this child come here. So I'm glad saying come here, right? So again, it is these kind of things that the father is praised for. So very mediocre. So basically you're saying you are only here as a sperm donor, or a bank, or to make my mother happy. That's your role as a father. But if you listen to the mother song, Mama, you deserve a pot of gold. If you listen to these songs, mothers are being praised for absolutely nothing. For just, you push me out of your vagina, you never take abortion, you never give me up for adoption, meaning of to repair the action, even if it's even just by a fraction. But if you look at these mother songs, these mother songs are thanking mothers for what they do, but also telling them that, listen, you have this massive amount of gratitude and debt towards your mother. And so that is what we see in society. Kids grow up and they take care of their mothers, and no one business with them fathers. And eventually what happens also is that 90%, well, not 90%, 67%, 62 to 67% of kids are jacket them give to the wrong father. So when these things happen, right, men are oftentimes told that, hey, I'm me push him out. So eventually what happens is that men let go off of the steering. So even though the men them were physically there, they were not being a father, them just dead for dead sake. And these are the kids that you see grow out, come out to be the homosexual, to be the transgender and all these things, because what happens is that them defang the fathers. And what is happening, what is simply happening is this. In just like society, the family have a certain hierarchy. The man is at the head. The man is at the head, right? Not because the man want to be there. You think me want to be at the head of the family? No, me wish me could have done my back safe. But as a man, your role, your duty is to be at the head of the family. What is the role of the head of the family? It is not just the head of the family is not just a title that you just get. No, you are there to provide and protect. So what happened is eventually they use their agendas to get the man to just be the provider and forget about protection. In order to protect any person, you're going to need obedience. You cannot protect people if you can't get them to obey you, because eventually they are going to put themselves in an unnecessary danger. This is why it is important for us to be able to get discipline. This is why discipline is important. But what happens is that eventually men are reduced to just providers, and then eventually everything go off the rail. That is what we are seeing now. This is what is happening in society. We have kids, they are educated, they can read more than ever, but they don't have any critical thinking. They don't have any critical thinking, and they don't see past tomorrow. They don't see past little more. This is what is happening in society, where we have women who feel like it's okay to go out and sleep with every man. So what we have now is we have a society where one woman will have sex with 100 men over a weekend, and she feel liberated to do that, and no one sees nothing wrong with it. Or one man will have sex with 100 women and no one sees anything wrong with it. So eventually, while we are doing these things and having fun, eventually what is happening is our society is going to the dog. Our society is in massive disrepair because the structure of the family is being deteriorated. So all of these things are entering, some through the internet, because the internet is, we have this now, it's here more than ever, that everybody from the baby upon the breast to the whole woman, where I look for the grave, everybody is on this thing called the internet. A lot of parents even nowadays, they don't raise their kids. YouTube raise their kids. They don't want to come off of YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter where gossip is happening. Naturally, if me open a gossip channel right now, in no time I have 10,000, 100,000 subscribers because everybody is going after gossip. And what we do, because we want the time to go and check gossip, this is how the society deteriorates. Because all we do now, we buy a tablet, especially with COVID. COVID now get us to buy more and more tablets. You see that? They have their agenda. They know what they are doing. They are playing chess, and we are still here playing checkers. They have their agenda. Now every child as them born get a tablet. So when they can hold something in their hand, they have a tablet. So you give them a tablet, and what they do, they go on YouTube or wherever, and they are watching. And lots of time we put them on YouTube Kids, and we feel like, okay, this is YouTube Kids. YouTube Kids doesn't have anything that my child, I don't want my child to be exposed to. Except YouTube Kids have a lot of material that you would not want your child to be exposed to. Like, for example, homosexual material promoting homosexuality. But it's not just on YouTube, it's also in the schools. I'm not saying necessarily in Jamaican schools, but there is schools like Gay BC, there are books like Gay BCs that you can find in American schools. More and more people are of the opinion that, listen, this homosexual thing does not affect you, so it is quite fine. It is quite fine for people to be homosexual, and you don't need to say anything. So to the point now that even the church is not saying anything. See, the Pope recently come out to say that the Catholic is not going to say anything about homosexuality anymore. So basically what is happening now is that people are telling God himself that, listen, you need to adjust to the time. We are here, we are fucking batty, we are eating pussy, and you need to adjust yourself. You, the creator, right? The one who created everything. You need to now adjust yourself so we can feel comfortable. It's absurd. Can you imagine that we would live in a world where this is happening, where something like this could happen? And so that is what is happening. We are caught up into this net. We are caught up into this thing, right? Where the whole world is heading to a place. And we are on this, just enjoying the ride. Not seeing, not caring that we are going over a precipice, that we are going down into an abyss. We don't care because we want to be tolerant. It's not everything we should tolerate. We need to get back with balls as men. We need to get back with balls as Jamaica need to get back them balls. We are allowing so many things into our country, a lot of things into our culture, and the powers that be are they are very grateful that we would be so kind as to allow them to come and ruin our entire, way of life. How can we have a gay Christian? Doesn't make sense. We live in a world where if you have not had a threesome, you don't know what you're missing out on. We live in a world where you're being told that your woman should suck your wood. We live in a world where everything is being justified. Everything wrong is being justified because it's fun. Not everything that is fun should be done. There are lots. We know that 99% of sin is fun. Check it. And a lot of times why people are doing things, as I say, is not for the right reason. A lot of times, whether it is something that seems good, it's not for the right reason. Should we accept aid from the US aid? No, because US aid come with conditions. The conditions are, if a man want fuck body, you have to allow him. That is the condition. And they have their agenda. And one of the main agenda that we have come to realize that is going on is that they want the reduction of the world's population. And that is the reason why they are pushing for transgender, because once kids transition from one gender to another, they will never be able to have kids. So it stopped right there. It stopped with them. The second thing is homosexuality, because persons who are homosexual cannot get pregnant, they cannot reproduce. All of these things that they are promoting is because they want to confuse the world. They want the world to be in a confused state. They want the world to reject God, right? And the more this is happening, the more we are ignoring it. And the more we ignore it, the more it is happening. So basically, we are currently on fire. We don't even realize that we are on fire. We constantly enter into this net, we enter being ignorant of our downfall that's happening before our very eyes. And whenever you have certain people who talk about these things, we say these people are them too fast, them below it alone, and then chat so much. And the reason for that is simple. We program to love this, so why is somebody going to be telling us that this thing I will love, we not have it? We're not going to like that. We're not going to like that. We want them to tell we say yes, because what? We all want fun. But remember, fun is not, the things that are fun are not necessarily always good for you. Take sugar. Sugar sweet, no? We like sugar. Sugar is necessary. But too much sugar, and what happens to you? What happens when you get too much sugar? Diabetes, you get sick and you're dead. So this is what is happening to us. We are dying because we love too much sweets. And we don't realize that we love too much sweets. And so what is happening is this. We are losing the fight. We are on our way to hell and we don't even know. So, when they say people, look out on the eye. Look out of your eye and try to ensure that you do not enter their nets and get caught in this society that they are trying to build. A society where right is wrong and wrong is right. Where if you say you're straight, it's an offense. If you say you're straight, you're offensive. Like even homophobia. It's a wrong word. I do not fear any homosexuals. Well, to some extent, I don't like to use the bathroom with them because you don't know what they're up to. But apart from that, I do not fear them. I pity them because they do not have they have something wrong with their minds. Until 1974, you can go and look it up. Until 1974, homosexuality was classified as a mental illness. But now, homosexuality is considered normal behavior. So, that's what they do. They reclassify something, and then once it's reclassified, it has to become legal. And then we are here now sitting down, and we are just accepting all of these things to happen. We are allowing it to happen. They take the time draw a scene, because if they know that if they draw a scene, all at once, what is going to happen? We are going to bust the line. So they don't want that. They take the time draw a scene. Right? Anyways, let me finish this here video because it's already long. Let me see, let me hear in the comments down below. Like the video, share the video, and leave your comments as I say. Let me know what's going on.